Ready to slave for today, y'all. What triggered me today? Nothing really triggered me today. But something I wasn't aware of. I didn't know. I had no idea. I had no idea. Because if you... America's not talking about their slavery news. Slaves are revolting, y'all. Well, they're not revolting. They're peacefully protesting. But we're not paying attention. Oh no, don't look at no slaves. Don't look at no modern slavery in America. Let's talk about Trump. Let's talk about Russia. Mueller investigation. All the nonsense that's going on. It makes no damn sense. I don't care nothing about that. That's just stupid. You don't talk about your little butt hurt from an election when you got modern slavery happening. From the people you want to convince me I need to vote for in the midterm elections. Man, you crazy out your mind. You slipped and bumped your head? We got human problems. They're talking about the Mueller investigation. They finally found something. Oh, we found something on this guy. He did some financial banking crimes. Really? In your world, let me ask a question. I'm gonna ask a question. Anybody answer this if you want. Is there any politician anywhere in America that doesn't have some sort of financial crime, criminal something anywhere that can be dug up if you put a special investigator on them? It's not one. You know why? I'll tell you why. You're always talking bad about politicians. Because it's not one American that's not a criminal. We're all criminals. That's how the law was written. That's why they ignore the Constitution everywhere. We consent to it. And so slavery's abundance. I'm at the slave for it today. But I want to bounce back and forth. Because the slaves they're doing a peaceful sit-in. Prisons all over the United States of America. In fact, I think I posted something on that a minute ago. I posted, let me see if I can find it. It's not in the American news. I didn't see it anywhere in American news. I had to go to Al Jazeera to find out about modern Democrat-Republican slavery. I know you're upset. You're like, I thought you was a Democrat. No, I'm not. Sorry. Not Republican either. Nope. I'm a human being. They love slavery too much. I think the slave fort was a bad idea. I do. I don't know. I don't think slavery was a great idea. I think they should have actually ended it instead of pretending to end it. I think when the North came for the South, they actually should have went to end slavery, not to get the tax dollars from slavery. That's what I think. I think that all the Northern generals and Lincoln, I think they should have gave up their slaves before Robert E. Lee. That's what I think. I think that you've been played. I think that they've lied to you about history because they always do, because you're liable. You're gullible. You believe it. You go along with it. That's what I think. No, something else. Let me show you something. I'm already off talking, the music going. I know it hit a trigger, didn't it? I know. All right, I'll admit it. They hit a trigger. I did, because I get annoyed with stuff like that. Like, why do they want to talk about Trump? I just don't get it. Why do they don't realize they're being played time and time again. And now we want to line up the next slaver we're going to vote for. And it's like the slave party elections, like, yay, midterm elections. What we going to vote for? Which slaver? I don't know. Who's your favorite slaver? I don't know. I like this slaver better. This slave party, they're a lot better than that slave party. And I'm just sitting here like, oh my goodness. Like, we just don't get it. And meanwhile, the only peaceful, intelligent ones are the ones in prison. They're the ones who are actually peacefully standing down and saying, no, slavery's a bad idea. We shouldn't be doing this. And all the free slaves. Because that's, in fact, that's all the 13th Amendment was about. If you guys are not from America, what happened is, I'll explain the history. So after they ended slavery, the North didn't really want to end slavery. They needed the money. They needed that tax dollar. So they had to figure out, how in the world do we trick everybody into slavery? You know, we just had African slaves. We need everybody slaves. We need Irish slaves again because we got rid of them. We need to bring them back. We need the British slaves. We need everybody in America to be a slave. How do we do this? 13th Amendment. Oh, yeah, an idea. Look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to write something called the 13th Amendment. And when we write this, it's going to say that anyone who does it, breaks a law, the state can make them a slave. Yeah, we'll just call them criminals and we'll just do it this way. Yeah, and then all we got to do at that point is make some laws in the South that say that you got to have a job or you're a criminal. And so everybody, they walk right off the plantation like, wait, free. And then they walking right back on the plantation. You don't have a job? Back right into slavery. You know, and then over time, what we can do is write a bunch of laws and make everybody criminals. Which is why in the United States of America, there's, what was the last statistic? Something like over 500,000 laws. Nobody even knows how many laws are out there. That's what I'm saying. Everybody's a criminal. Every last one of them. All the politicians are. If you hire a special investigator and you put them on somebody that works at Starbucks, they're going to find a crime. So of course they're going to find a crime to Trump administration. It's not even a question. If they put a special investigator on Obama, they find crimes on him. They find crimes on Clinton. They'll find crimes on everybody because everybody's a criminal in the United States because of the 13th Amendment. If they made everybody criminals, then slavery never had to end it. And so they don't care anything about the slave force. You can knock down the slave force, you can pee on it, you can burn it up, do whatever you want. We don't need the slave force anymore. We got slaves that love slavery now. We got slaves that are on our side. They're voting Democrat, Republican. I know I'm pissing some people off. They're like, don't say that. Trump is a racist. That's why I like to ask the question. My Trump friends might like this one. I always like the question. You know, who is more racist, the Trump voters or your political party? It's a good game. It's a good fun game. I had to look at my thread and see who's playing the game with me. I want to see who's playing the game. We're going to look at some of the laws. We're going to look at what they've been doing. And then mind you, it's not racist from a racism perspective. It's not that the political parties hate your skin. They don't. They just think you're dumb. It's racism from an intellect perspective. They hate your DNA. They know how dumb you are. They know that you will support anything that they do. And you'll clap for it. Which is why none of them have any interest in talking about modern slavery. And none of them are talking about modern slavery because they don't care. All right, hold on, let me pull up my comments. I'm off. Whoo, hit a little trigger, didn't it? It did. It bothered me a little bit. It bothered me. I tell you why it bothered me. It bothered me because I sit there and I watch human beings being treated like they're dirt. And they're captives. They are literal captives in American prisons. Most of them didn't break the Constitution one bit, which was the rig of the 13th Amendment. Most of them were peaceful, following their constitutional rights, whether they was growing some medicine for somebody or they were just trying to survive. They were born in the wrong spot. They were born in poverty. They were born in a trailer park. They were born in the Appalachian Mountains. They were born in a ghetto. And then you got everybody who looks like them on both sides, agreeing, oh no, you broke a law. You need to pay your debt to society. Meanwhile, they didn't actually break anything from a constitutional perspective. All they did was did something that was unpopular. And so they're rotting in these prisons in horrible conditions. And the thing is about the article I posted, maybe we'll take a look at it. We'll take a look at the, Al Jazeera did a good one on it. We'll take a look at that. But the thing is that it's so sick. It's so sick and how it like really lines up. If you actually watch the news release, the inmates, they're not saying release us. They're saying we just want better conditions. But that's what the slave mind does to you, right? Because so the people on the outside, they've normalized it. Like, yeah, Trump's the racist and we're the good people. No, you're not. And then on the inside, they're thinking, oh, well, you know, because it's what the psychology does to you over a long period of time. Like, I did something wrong and I got to pay the price, because all of these morons in society agree with this idea that the Constitution can just be burned up and urinated on anytime they feel like it, anytime their feelings or emotions get hurt, anytime they don't like their neighbor because they don't want their neighbor to do something. They can tell their neighbor what to do in their own land. And they write a law. They can tell their neighbor what kind of medication to use, whether it's pharmaceutical or naturally grown in a bush. You know, but most of the demands they have were like, we want fair wages. We want, you know, the ability to work. We want, you know, we don't want to be on lockdown for this, that, and like very simple things. But that's not the issue to me. That's what, maybe that's their fight because they know that we sold them out. That's why. That's their fight. All the white brothers, the Hispanic brothers, the black brothers, the Asian brothers, whatever y'all want to call them, and the sisters, all the ones locked in those prisons, they know we sold them out. They know we don't give two damns about them. They know we're living happy lifestyles, drinking Starbucks, and meanwhile, Starbucks uses slave labor. I don't know if you knew that. Yeah, by the way, shouldn't drink Starbucks. Don't drink Starbucks. And it's not because they one lady called the police on, on some brothers in Philly. That's not the reason why. The reason why is they're a big corporation They don't hate you. They don't give a damn about you. They use slave labor like Victoria's Secrets and everybody else. And so I think we need to spend a little time talking about the 13th Amendment. I think we need to spend a little time talking about modern slavery and selling out. As we come up to the midterm elections and people try to convince me, this is who you should vote for. This is my favorite slaver. Who is yours? What does your slaver do for you? You know, and so for me, everything, there's nothing political in any of this, right? It's all human rights, baby. Always has been. It's once we get to a place where we're not putting little kids in cages because you don't like them because they're born in the wrong spot in poverty, when you're not bombing other nations and causing genocide, when you have a political party that has any respect for human life in any way, then it's a conversation. Until then, you're a fool. All right? I love you. That's a little rough. Wasn't that a little rough? I know it's a little rough. Y'all talk about my issues. What are my psychologist friends? They here, they can go and break me down psychology, the psychology of it. When it bothers me because when I was 17, I was in college. I went to go visit one of my best friends. They put in prison. You know, we are putting kids in prisons and we're making them monsters. And it's all because they were born in the wrong place. No different than, you know, you talk about, oh, the white man, he went to Africa and grabbed all of these African slaves and put them on the boat and took them home. And we should have fought them better. No, that's not what happened at all. That didn't happen. That's all fake news. They showed up at the coast and like, hey, we ain't getting out this damn boat. You see them spears, man, I ain't getting out that boat. You getting out that boat? No, hell no, I ain't getting out the boat. What we're gonna do? We need to tie into the Arab slave trade. That's what we need to do. Tie into the Arab slave trade, and we'll get together with the strong tribes here and get the strong tribes here. We give them some guns and send them out to go get the Africans way out, because I ain't getting out the boat. You can get out the boat you want to. I ain't getting out the boat. You see the size of that spear, man? I ain't getting out that boat. That's exactly what happens. No different than New York City today. No different. Politicians ain't getting out the boat. Hell no. I'm getting out the boat in New York City. In Dubai, they don't even walk on the street with the millionaires. They fly tower to tower with the billionaires with the drone with the drones. Politicians ain't getting out. They send the police to go do it. So now we're down to the game of why I don't blame police. Y'all like to play blame the slave catcher, not the one making the money from sending the slave catcher out to catch the slaves. So they catch these kids, whether it be in Alabama, living in a impoverished community, white, black, Mexican, whatever, immigrant, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing, you know, but they get you locked up in stupidity. They're just coming after us. No, they're not. They're coming after everybody. Everybody's a criminal in America. That's how you dominate a world. If you can dominate America, if you can divide up America, get them talking about stupid, silly, dumb stuff that just means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of human rights on this planet, they can make a fool out of you. Ooh, I'm gonna show you something. Before we go to the article. That's what I'm talking about. Because I look at ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, Fox. Nobody's talking about the prison protests right now. They're all protesting. They're hunger strikes. They're protesting. None of them talking about it. Why are you political parties talking about it? Where the Democrats? Hello, Democrat, hello. Is this phone? Isn't this thing on? The party for the people. You know, Republicans. Where you at? Hey, hello. It's a bunch of people, slaves in prison. Hello. Slave ports are open. Anybody gonna do anything about that? No, y'all. That's after Trump. Okay. And that's part of the reason. This is what I'm gonna tell you. This is part of the reason I'm not mad he's the president. I don't care what you say. I'm not mad he's the president. I'm happy there's somebody in the office that scares the hell out of you. I don't know why he scares you. I have no. You look at what. Let me show you. I gotta show you something. I don't know why he scares you. He doesn't scare me. Because look at this. Let me show you something. Bam! Look at that statue still standing. Y'all see that? Y'all see the statue? Who's that? Does anybody know who that is? I will talk about statues you need to be knocking down. I know I asked the question. I have to go out to my thread, see if anybody knew the answer. There was one man. Put more people in prison, more people than were in slavery. He put more free American citizens in prison with the crime bill than grabbed from any coast in Africa, anywhere. Nobody want to knock down that statue. How can the statue still up? Where y'all at? Where my statue people? Statue people! Statue! Where the statue besides statue solidarity? We gonna and I don't want y'all to do that. I'm not saying knock down Bill Clinton statue. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, can we not sell out? Can we read a history book? Can we read a history book? Y'all talk about Robert E. Lee. We can talk about Robert E. Lee. I love talking about Robert E. Lee. I love it. Because Robert, Man, this man he trained in the North. This man didn't like no slaves more than anybody else. He didn't write a crime bill. He how many slaves did Robert E. Lee have? He had about 20 of them or something. Then he let them all go way before everybody in the North and Abraham Lincoln and everybody, long before they even considered letting anybody go. Robert E. Lee let him go. Y'all knocking his statue down. I'm just confused, discombobulated, and running amok. Things that I just don't get. Don't make sense in my brain. Hopefully somebody can tell me why this makes any sense. But I don't want to knock down Bill's statue. I think y'all should go put Robert E. Lee statue back up. That's what I think. I think y'all should. I do. So in the meantime, you got all these people yelling and screaming about get Trump out of office and put Pence in. I don't want that. I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want no damn Pence in office. Is it Sandra's birthday? I'm sorry, I gotta take a moment. Happy birthday, Sandra. Happy birthday, girl. It's your birthday. This might actually be the right, now I'm doing the right video in the right way. Yeah, y'all didn't know Sister Sandra. Yeah, y'all know Sister Sandra. Always be praying for her and her family. Absolutely. Happy birthday, girl. You know, she's one of the ones that's standing in the cut. I always appreciate me some Sister Sandra. She stands in the cut. She doesn't cut no lies for nobody, right? She doesn't agree with the Democratic Party because they're Democrats. She doesn't agree with the Republicans because they're Republicans. She only stands up for the truth. This is why I appreciate that, sister. So y'all wish Sandra a happy birthday. Gotta look out for each other. You know, she's one of these people that just stands up and doesn't care what other people says. I relate to people like that. I relate. I don't relate to people who sell out. I don't. I love them. You know, because I used to I don't know if I willingly sold out, if I was indoctrinated or lied to or whatever. I make excuses for stuff all day long. The bottom line is slavery is hot and popping in America. Hot and popping. And because it's hot and popping in America and we can't stand up for human rights and we keep it going, slavery exists all over the world. Slavery, and it's all on division. That's why, let me get this bastard from behind me. I'm sorry. So damn Bill Clinton. And it bothers me. Y'all know, it's the Americans here, the Americans. This is people nothing. And then guess what they did? They ran his wife and they voted for his wife. They ran his wife, y'all. I'm sorry. All right, I'm stopping laughing. I'm gonna get serious. Somebody told me I'm supposed to be serious. I'm trying to be a little more serious. To me, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. This man went out and built all these prisons. They shut off welfare. And you know what's going to happen. You build the prison, so you got a place to put the slaves. They shut off welfare, wrote the Welfare Reform Act. So now people can't survive. So now they got to go do constitutional things, but they're crimes to survive. And then you roll up the police to put them all in prison. And that's what the crime bill was all about. They just set them up. It was a setup. It was no more than, what's his name, Mayor Barry in D.C.? It was a setup. It was a sting operation. Bill Clinton staged a sting operation on the poor people all over this country. And he threw a whole mess of them in prison. So you want to knock down a statue, knock down that statue. Let me get this guy from behind me. I could slave for. Oh, you know what? I got another guy. No, I'm not going to do that. So I want to go take a look at it. So they are standing up for prison reform. And while I think that's important, I think that you have to take care of people in the certain circumstances you are. But we have to end slavery, you guys. We got to end it. We got to end the prison system. It makes no sense to have it. All right. So one of the things that one of the guys said in this interview, let me see, where was the interview at? He made the point that, and it was a deep point that people don't think about. He says, when I get out of prison, I determine where I live. You don't get to determine where I live. And the direct issues you're going to have with me are based in your ability, your investment in reforming me and helping me. And right now, we don't help anybody in prisons. We have no interest in helping them in prisons. Right now, all we do is make them work for Starbucks, make them work for Victoria's Secret for like 22 cents an hour. We keep them in slave-like conditions. You know what they're actually doing now? They got firefighters that are slaves. Like, this is real slavery in America. Like, it's real. The Clintons, the other thing about the Clintons, y'all remember that picture, the Clintons, when he had his slaves behind him and he took a proud picture? Did y'all remember that? Somebody could post a picture where it was at the Clinton mansion and he was the governor, and he had the slaves behind him, and a few of his, I guess, friends, the cabinet, family, I don't know, people came over for the banquet, whatever it was, and he was standing proud in front of it. And I was just like, man, you are such a slaver, Bill Clinton. You don't even see how evil you are. You don't even recognize it as slavery. But he's happy with it. One of the leaders of the Democratic Party. I don't know. I know. That's what people ask me. They say, why are you always defending Trump? I'm not defending Trump. I'm not. I just understand that Trump's a distraction. That's all he is. And they point at him and they say, racist. So you get your racist and go home and y'all be happy together and vote for him. Who's the next racist we're going to go for? We got to go after the main threat, which is some billionaire who lucked up and became president. And it's not the people who've been writing the laws to keep slavery going in America. All right. So let me go. Let me show you this.
Hi, I'm Femi OK, and you're in the stream. Today, thousands of US prisoners are starting a nationwide strike for better conditions.
I'm Malika Bilal. We'll examine what's compelled inmates to protest and what they can achieve. Join the conversation through YouTube and Twitter.
Over the next 20 days, inmates in prisons, jails and immigration detention centers will hold peaceful sit-ins, hunger strikes and labor stoppages to push for reform of a system that they say abuses and exploits them.
That's right.
I'm gonna stop for a minute. Because this is a good example. Look above my head. Do y'all see this? Oh, it just disappeared, bastards. You know, I'm about to call him out. You can go back in the video and see it. It was a pop-up and it said Michael Cohen, Trump slave. This is what I'm talking about. They pop up this stuff and they keep everybody focused. This is the problem, and that's not the problem. That's not even related to anything important.
Right, this is the second national prisoner strike in 2 years. Organizers hope to encourage even more inmates than the 24,000 who took part in that record-breaking protest. This year's demonstrations are led by Jailhouse Lawyers Speak, an incarcerated group of reform advocates. They're supported by several other groups seeking changes to the prison system. The strike was called in response to the death of 7 inmates in a riot at a South Carolina state prison in April. It was the worst disturbance in a U.S. prison in 25 years.
So why do people riot in prison? Anybody? Quick question. Why do people riot in prison? Same reason they riot in Portland, Oregon. Scarcity and fear. Scarcity, fear, and draconian rule over them, and keeping them on one side or the other. And this is why people riot in prison, same way they riot out here. Human beings want to be free. Human beings don't want to be told what to do. Human beings don't want to be forced anywhere. And when you force people everywhere, you tell them how to live, you take away their self-determination. Obviously, the scarcity and the control mechanisms you have over them will completely cause them to revolt. So no, they're not violent people. They're not horrible people, but the prison culture is a little violent, right? Like the American culture in certain cities is a little violent. And so in order to survive, what do you use? Violence. Exactly. Not bad people, it's the environment.
Organizers of the strikes have several demands. Take a look at this clip featuring a former prisoner and organizer called Cole Dorsey. He outlines some of the most pressing issues for inmates.
Prisoners have called for immediate improvement to prisons and prison conditions, having access to vote, having access to the law library and law resources, rehabilitation access.
Stop. Why would you take away a prisoner's ability to vote? Why would you do that? Perhaps because after they've seen the ugliest of the ugly of your colonized model of a system of a sick, uncivilized society, they might actually vote you out. Perhaps.
Access and services. Pell Grants should be reinstated. There's been less and less services, whether they be college degrees and particularly rehab services.
For more on the strike, we are joined from Columbia, South Carolina by Crystal Roundtree. She is a representative and organizer for Jailhouse Lawyers Speak, which is leading the protest.
We're also joined by Chandra Bazelko. She's a formerly incarcerated.
Stop. I don't want to show the whole thing. I mean, we could, but we'll see how this goes. I want this to be a discussion, actually, because I want somebody to explain to me why I should be in support of modern slavery, and why I should vote for a Democrat or Republican in the upcoming elections. That's what I want somebody to tell me. Maybe y'all can give me a good idea. And I'm scared that Trump is not an answer. So what did Lulu saying? Hey, good morning, sister. How you doing? Do the inmates have a choice to work fighting fires? Yes, from what I understand, Lulu, they do, right? So they have a choice, but not really. I'm gonna take that back. No, I don't think they have a choice. Let me tell you why. There is an option. It's not a choice. Option is to sit in a cell and do nothing, or to go out and fight a fire and do something. And I don't know about you, but I like the sunlight. I like to be outside. I like fresh air. I don't want to sit and do nothing. So to me, it's not really an option. I mean, it's choice-ish. It's not really. It's not a choice when you're kept in a cage. Yeah, you want to get the hell out of it. So whatever they say, hey, we're gonna go stitch some drawers for Victoria's Secrets, and we're gonna work for 3 pennies an hour. We're gonna go carry bags of coffee for Starbucks. We're gonna go do some gardening at Bill Clinton's mansion. It's not an option. It's like, do I want to sit here all day on a cot and I don't even have room to lay down, sleep, do anything? Or do I get in some fights and crazy stuff? Or do I get the hell up and I go work for somebody for 32 cents an hour? And they go up and they go do it. So no, I don't see it as a choice, but it is a good thing in that way, right? From a mental illness perspective. And that's why I'm not like, some people, they drive these discussions into extreme places where they're like, oh, we need to get rid of slavery, get rid of the work in prison, let them sit in prison cells. If you're somebody like that, you're stupid, right? It's a mental illness issue. When you put everybody in these cells and you keep them in cages, it's like the bear in the zoo or anything else. They're going to flip out. They're going to have mental illness. You're going to have a lot of violence and problems. A lot of guards are going to get hurt. You're going to have a lot of riots. So by letting them out and go do things, even if it's labor and working, they got them picked. They actually have American slaves picking cotton again, but that's a whole another story. Growing cotton. I forgot what state that is. But the point is, when you let them out, it might give you a few more years. You might make it a bit longer if you have a better control of your faculties. You know that you're acting. So you don't want to stop the ability for them to get out and do things. What you want to do, like here's my formula. My formula is this. Get rid of everybody that's in prison. Not get rid of. That sounds too Democrat Republican. I'm sorry. Free everybody in prison that is, all they did was break a law, but they were well within rights of their constitution. So if they followed constitutional rights, they were just selling some dried plants or something on the street, which is like 70% of everybody in prison right now. Let them out. Let them out. They didn't do any. They're no threat to society in any way. Get them out of there. Why? Because when you get them out of there and you get them productive back in society, you end the war on drugs, let them grow their medicine, sell their medicine, whatever they want to do, open a little CVS, break down that regulation. They have a means of survival. That's all they did was constitutional survival. We need those industries, actually. There's a lot of brothers that didn't know how to grow some, and sisters know how to grow some hemp and cannabis. We need to get them out and get some industries going. But the thing is, when you let them out and they become productive citizens again, you now have a very small population and you got a lot of guards and psychologists who can focus on a smaller population, right? The same thing was wrong with the school system. It's the same thing wrong with the prisons. You got all these people in there. You got one teacher. You got 60 kids in a class. What the hell a teacher gonna do with 60 damn kids? I had trouble with 3. The little bastards always stays in revolutions, trying to knock down the fences and get more allowance what they're supposed to. They always coming after me. So how in the world a teacher gonna take care of a classroom with 40 kids? That makes no damn sense. So you reduce the population, and then you get the psychologists who are there to focus on reforming the ones who are actually there, right? You get them to study them. There's time to do these things. There's time to do the brain scans that Dr. James Fallon and these guys talk about, where these are people who were just born in the wrong circumstance. They were just born on the east coast of Africa, and the Democrats and the Republicans showed up and they put them on a slave boat. Psychopaths all that happened. Right? They were born in Detroit. They were born in Chicago. They're not bad people. But the thing is that you tweak those psychopath genes, right? The warrior genes. You make them aggressive and violent, and they somehow get everybody to go along with this idea that these are bad people, and they're not bad people. They were people born in a bad place. right? But when you focus on reforming and helping the ones who can be reformed, the ones who can be helped, like the soldiers who come back from war and they deprogram them and they turn off the warrior gene, they bring them right back into society. Right? And this is how you fix things. Short of that, you're perpetuating the problem. You make it worse. You take all of these people, you throw them all together, all these aggressive men and aggressive women, and the ones who aren't aggressive, who didn't never hurt anybody, didn't hurt a fly, and you put them with aggressive people in a small space. What do you think you're going to do? You're going to make them aggressive. And then you turn around, you let them back out. And they move next door to you. And now you're crying for the police. We need more police on the streets. Oh, but Lord, I can't even go outside, Lord Jesus. You know, and then they get more police on the street. Now you're upset. Now black lives got to matter, and white lives got to matter, and then blue lives got to matter because they're fighting back. And do you see how dumb this is? Is anybody picking up what I'm putting down? Do you know how dumb it is to create a failed system after failed solution after failed solution after failed solution, and it rolls up into this big monster that keeps the dark ages alive, hot, and popping? Makes Americans scared to death. It makes them call for more laws. They call their legislators, you gotta do something about these people in my rose garden. You're yelling, so they're writing laws. Now they got grandmas that they shooting with tasers who just picking some damn dandelions to make some soup. The police state rolls out. So the police state rolls out. And why do you need a police state? If you're an imperial empire, if you are a force to be reckoned with in the world, why do you need a police state and censorship? Why do you need those things? Because the people might actually wake up. The ones who actually got warm blood flowing through their heart will come up to the midterm elections and be like, no, I'm not voting for y'all. Y'all are sick. But if you make people scared, then they'll keep voting. They'll keep buying into the system. They'll keep rolling out slavery. They'll be okay with the wars. They'll ignore the 29 kids that are bombed in buses in Yemen. That's why you need a police state, because you need the fear. Right? It's like the Aztecs and the Mayas. You know how they always talking about, yo, they didn't do anything. They didn't grow food. They didn't harvest water. They didn't do anything. All they did was take virgins up on the pyramids and cut their throats and roll their heads down the steps. That's all they did. You know, that's a lie. They didn't do that. They did a little bit of that. They didn't do a whole lot of that. But the point is that you need the fear. Empires need fear. People have to have fear. They got to be scared of each other. They got to be scared of the other group. They got to be scared of the left, and the right's got to be scared of the Democrats, scared of the Republicans. Everybody's scared, so everybody's scared, and nobody's talking. Nobody's talking. And this is how all these systems feed together. That's how they keep it rolling. I'm sorry, Lulu asked one question. I look at the comments. You know, it's a completely failed system. Totally. That's why I totally believe, and I'm saying it, open the prison, let all the slaves out, emancipate the slaves, finally get rid of the 13th Amendment, get rid of the war on drugs, bring Americans back to like a common place of sanity where they can actually talk about human rights, talk about should we be invading other countries, should we be supporting Saudi Arabia? Saudi Arabia, oh my God, what are they about to do now? They're about to execute 5 peaceful activists. This is American values, y'all. This is UK values, US, France values, and nobody even talks about that. Barely on the news here. Why? Because everybody's so scared of each other. They're so scared of each other. Got the Trump phobia going, got the Russia phobia going. There's still some damn Obama phobia going. I don't get none of this. But all right, let me go back to the comments. I get a little triggered by it, but it's just so simple. It's right in front of your face. Right in front of your face. Or treatment is not actually a rehabilitation system. No, it's not, Brother Andrew, because they don't want to rehabilitate them. They actually want them to go in violent or go in peaceful and come out violent. Why? Because people are running to politicians and ask for more laws. Then they can take those rights. They can go to Wall Street, ask anybody want to buy these rights. They can sell the rights to Wall Street. When they sell the rights to Wall Street, they get to stay in office. The political parties get to stay in office. And this is how it all works. Now they can write a book and talk about how they help something else. And it was just all the same thing. It's a perpetuation of all the same problems. Let me go down. Many are walking freely and are in prison for real. Yeah. Oh, Sandra. Oh, Sandra. Oh, Sandra swinging. I was gonna say Sandra got some insight. Sandra has some insight. I don't tell nobody business, but Sandra has insight. And that's the whole point, is that there's a difference between a captive and a slave, right? There are captives. There are people who are captured, walking on the streets of New York, living their lives, honoring their constitutional rights, but they were grabbed up and taken into prison. There were kids just growing, making some moonshine with grandpa, and they were captured up. They were captives and they go to prison, but they were never slaves. They lived free, and in prison they lived free, free in their mind. But then you got the slaves, and they're in prison and they're out of prison, who were slaves by mentality. They're completely enslaved in this system, and they believe it, and they don't believe in living free. Absolutely. And what I find, like Sandra knows, a lot of people in prison, they are not slaves. They're captives. They get how this works, and that's why they take away their rights to vote. They actually understand once they go in, and the few that actually make it out, they don't want them voting. Oh, hell no, they don't want them voting, because they know how the system works at that point, and they experienced it. They want you to keep looking at them with your prison racism, looking at them like, oh, I'm not going to hire you. I don't want to live next to you. You went to prison. You're a bad person. You know, meanwhile, the bad people are the ones lined up for the next the next election to keep slavery going, to keep murder going all over the world. Let me see. And in general, it's getting to the point where only the honest and humans are in prison because the criminals, because to criminals, honesty is the most dangerous crime. Exactly, Brother Paris. Exactly. Honesty is a problem. Honesty is a crime. Truth is a crime right now. That's what I posted last night. I woke up in the morning. It's like 2 a.m. in the morning. I was like, we gotta say the word. We gotta say the word. So I was thinking about something. I was like, follow the money. I think, what did I say? I said something to the effect of, sometimes you can't follow the money. Right? Sometimes, honey, you don't know where the money goes. We're not allowed to even see the money. We're not even allowed to know what's going on. I just found out that Venezuela got more oil than Saudi Arabia. Did you know that? You know, and that government's falling apart. And I don't think that's not a CIA activity. I think that's a project for America, but that's another whole discussion. We don't know the money. We can't see the money. We're not allowed to have access to the bank accounts or everything. So when you can't follow the money, follow the censorship. Follow whoever is trying to shut down dissenting voices. Then you'll know you're getting very close to where the money is. That's how you know. Always follow. Anytime anyone's trying to shut down the truth, you know, anytime someone, all right, here's an example. I like the classroom examples because I think we all a bunch of children, but that's that's another whole point. We in this big daycare called Earth and just real silly and stupid fighting over toys and Legos. But you walk into the classroom and you see all the kids, something happened. I don't know, something broke, yelling, screaming, was a fight. I don't know. You came in, it's all done. You know, and all of a sudden, all the kids, line up. Y'all stop it. Everybody stop. Everybody get in line. Because, you know, schools are like prison systems. Everybody get in a line. And then you try to figure out what happened. You know, it was one of those three boys right there in the middle, and one leaned over. What happened? And one leans over. Don't say nothing. You know where to look. Because when that kid leans over, but teachers know this stuff. This is why teachers need to be politicians. I don't understand why teachers want to teach. They actually know how this stuff works. Anytime somebody tries to shut you up, you know that person was deeply involved with the dirt and the doo-doo. And that's how you find the criminals. So I agree with you, Brother Paris. Absolutely. You got to, truth is a traitor. Right now, truth is a traitor. That's where you need to stick. You need to stick to the people or the pages that they're deleting. When you see these pages get deleting, go out to their websites and follow them, because those people are saying a whole lot of damn truth. Once at a college mock election, the students listed all the major candidates and none of the above. Guess who won? Well, Wilhelmina, I would get. Let me guess. That wasn't in America. That didn't happen in America. Did that happen in the UK or France? Where did you grow up? Because I don't think that would happen here. I don't know here. None of the above would never win. That just doesn't work. Here, we struggle with things, Wilhelmina. We struggle with things. Like if we were walking together, like say we was walking with Earth. We was just like walking on a cliffside, Earth walking with us. And all of a sudden, Earth just trips and falls down. And I don't know, Earth just falls down the cliff, lands in hell somewhere. Do you know the Americans will stand there and say, we need to vote Earth out. Let's not go get Earth. We need to get some ballots. Let's get together, get some ballots, and we're going to vote. Meanwhile, I got nothing to do with saving Earth. Earth is down there. Earth is being destroyed. You got ocean dead zones, right? You got mass extinctions, and they're like, we need to vote. We need to write some ballots, and no, you need to go get Earth, get a rope or something, get Earth out of the problem. It's like this. I was coming to my plantation this morning, and I was thinking about it. I saw a big fertilizer truck, because you know what? I have to apologize to my farmers. Let me apologize to the farmers. I went too far with it 2 days ago. I make mistakes. I say things sometimes. I get excited. For the fertilizers, right? Because we know we got the dead zones in the Gulf of Mexico. We're like destroying the ocean. And I blame the farmers and their fertilizer. I blame the EPA. And they don't get me wrong. They deserve to blame. The EPA, the Environmental Profit Protection organization that protects profits of chemical companies. They do some good too. But I saw a grass fertilizer truck, a lawn fertilizer. And I never thought about that. You know, homeowners are just as complicit as the farmers. Homeowners and the way we live our lives, they're just as sick and complicit in destroying the planet. Why? Because we like nice, clean grass. We want green grass. We don't want no weeds. Don't want no ferns. Don't want no moss, anything grown in the middle. No, we can't stand that. That's nature. Ugh, we don't want that biodiversity. Oh, we don't want none of that. It's got to be green. It's got to be chemical and green. So my kids can walk on and get carcinogens on their feet and go and play in your house. That's why, you know, we are all complicit in this nonsense. You know, but yeah, so I apologize to the farmers. The land homeowners just as dumb as you are. I'm sorry. If you work for a township, you need to get rid of your grass cutting laws. Like, we are destroying this planet, literally. You know, the coral reefs are being bleached because we're dumb as a bag of bricks. And why? Because we can't talk about real issues. The prison system, the 13th Amendment is a real issue, right? All of this division is a real issue. If you don't know somebody that's been in prison, you got to know somebody that's going. You need to go talk to somebody that's been to prison. That's what I think you need to do. You need to go make a friend. I was gonna say something. I'm not gonna say that. I've got friends who've been there. But you need to listen to them. They actually know how this works. They know slavery's alive and rolling. No prison slave votes because their numbers actually matter. Yeah, they do, Jenny, and there's a lot of them. Victimless crimes. Exactly, Rebecca. If there's no victim, there's no crime. No, I'm sorry. You don't get to have Wall Street victims. I don't care. No, systems aren't victims. They're not people. I don't care anything about your patents or your profits. Number one, your patents aren't yours anyway, because you stole whatever knowledge that built up to that patent from somebody else anyway. So no, you don't get to have any patents. That's just dumb. Corporations aren't victims. The only victims on this planet are the environment, the animals, and the people. Living things are victims. And if there is no victim, it's not a crime. No drug on this planet is a crime. You're stupid. I love you, but you're stupid. All right, let me be nice. Oh, Brother Terry, Sister Terry, hey! Welcome, Sister Terry, your first time watching. All right, well, you're good, girl. You're not slaving today. That's a good thing. In the 1960s, a principal at a high school used to truck the kids to detention over this farm and work at the school time. Stop playing. Those in power quickly learned to abuse the system to their advantage. Absolutely, Terry. Terry, spot on. Terry, come. Oh, Terry, bringing it. This is the truth. And this is why I don't blame the prison system. I don't. It's just a system. And listen, I'm gonna say something sound crazy. I don't know. Some of my friends understand. Some of y'all won't. If I was in power and I was in the prison system, I'd probably be doing the same damn thing. We haven't evolved to have power over each other. We evolved to be scared of weird and certain things. We've evolved to do some of the dumbest things. You know, you can take some of the just most people who just had the worst upbringing and give them a little bit of money and power, and they turn their backs on everybody. There's something wrong with us. You know, there's something wrong with us. That's why I'm saying when the aliens came and they gave us that second chromosome, your Jesus and all the creatures in the past, whatever made us, I think they shouldn't have used monkeys. They should have used bonobos or some, I don't know, kangaroos or something. People just be hot. But that would be kind of cool. What if we were like, instead of bred 98% monkey, they bred us with kangaroos, and you look at the inner city, none of like the Wall Street, the rat race, see everybody in New York City walking around going to work. Instead of that, you just see these little heads popping up like this. Everybody hopping to work. And that would be so important to see that. I'd love that. Like, y'all know that scene from The Matrix where he's standing there and he's like talking to Neo. You got everybody walking around him. Instead of walking around, they're like everybody hopping at different heights and they're all just hopping to work. Got the little briefcase and stuff. I think that would be important to see, because I don't take myself too seriously. I think one of our biggest problems is we take ourselves way too seriously. We take our groups too seriously, and most of y'all take some damn skin color way too seriously in your religions, because none of y'all, I'm saying none of y'all know nothing. Very few of us know anything about any of this. But mental slavery, yes, Jeannie, and that's a great design of the 13th Amendment. It convinced people, it's like, yeah, we emancipated the slaves. And so we freed the African slaves, and now we put everybody else in slavery. So now we're back to the original conditions in America where everybody can be a slave. They deleted the skin thing. That's all they did. They deleted the skin thing. So now everybody can be a slave, and now everybody is a criminal, so everybody can be a slave. And meanwhile, we're still playing skin games. We're still, oh, that's important. Skin matters. Meanwhile, where's my Martin Luther King? Meanwhile, he told you, oh, I gotta go. I gotta put that in your face. Let me make her go away. So meanwhile, he told you it's all about the content of somebody's character, not the color of their skin. And you're like, yeah, he's talking about white people, get him. And I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not. It's a general statement. Skin is not important. Skin is not important. If you still allying up with people or whatever over skin, you're not getting anything that this man said. You totally missed the boat. You just basically joined the side of the people who destroyed everything, the 2.2% that created all the problems. All right, let me keep going. I know it's a little harsh. I'm not being a little harsh on people this morning. I'm not trying to be harsh. I don't think it's not productive. We're not actually getting anywhere because we pay attention to what they want us to pay attention to. And we're not actually going to solve anything important unless we do. I talked to two of my sons this AM, both incarcerated. However, they are freer than most walking freely. One following the older brother by fasting and giving us meat. You know what, Sandra? I'm glad you said that. I wasn't going to say, I don't tell anybody's business. And that's why I know that it touches you close to your heart. That's why I talk about these things, you know, because this is real. It's in a game. You know, people, they act like it's a game. They never been to prison. They never visit anybody in there. They don't know that it's slavery. They don't know how horrible it is to a person's psychology, their mental makeup, and physically what it does to people, how it destroys children, taking children. And you know what? And saying, you know, to be honest with you, it's like I have the same love for your children I have for everybody's children. Honestly, I don't care what any of them did. I don't care. When I make a delineation between violent crime and nonviolent, if it's violent crime and you're over 26, you need some prison in your life. Well, not prison, you need some institution in your life. If you are under 26, you were somebody's little baby or somebody's little girl, and you actually did a violent act. You didn't even have a frontal lobe. You're not even human. You don't belong in a prison. But people don't like science. They like their ignorance and they like their prejudice, and they stick to that. Well, this kid did this. What was like the little boy, he was with 14 or something, and he was watching the WWF and he did a power drive. He did the power drive that we all did. All of us boys growing up, watching the WWF, trying to be the Junkyard Dog, trying to be Hulk Hogan, trying to be whatever. And we just had a better grasp of what we were doing, and we didn't hurt our buddies. And we lucked up and didn't go to prison because we didn't accidentally kill somebody. You know, but meanwhile, you get people in their little ignorant zones. Well, he's 14 and he's a monster. He's not 14 and a monster. He's 14 and he's a child. He didn't have a frontal lobe. He didn't know what he was doing. But he just slipped and the kid died, you know. And this is why I'm saying it's real. It's real because it affects people. It affects moms. It affects the dads. It affects the cousins and the friends. It affects people when they get out of prison. We should be in the business of fixing people. Like when I talk about scarcity, it's not just fixing scarcity in our society that prevents people from doing crimes of survival, but it's also about preventing the problems that occur after people get out of institutions. I hate the word prison. There should be institutions where people who have trouble making it in our society can go to be reformed. If they're over 26. If they're under 26, there should be big daycares, big non-school-like environments to teach them. Things like love, doing yoga, you know, trying to decode what poverty did to most of them. Right? Try to decode, it's not just poverty, but try to decode what greed and living with a billionaire did to them, because the billionaire was never around. The wealthy parents, they screw kids up too. In fact, the wealthy parents probably screw kids up even more. You know, but it's a real deal, and it's a real thing to talk about. And so, Sandra, like when I think about you and your boys, what bothers me the most, and I laugh a lot because that's the only way I can make it through this nonsense. But it hurts. It hurts when people are talking Trump phobia. It hurts. It hurts when they're talking Russiagate. It hurts when they're talking dumb stuff. I feel for you the same way I feel for the parents and the family, the kids on the bus in Yemen. You have a lot of people who just lost all grasp of their humanity, and they're not thinking of people worse than them. They're just thinking how to put an extra buck in their pocket and make a little more, while they talk about billionaires who do it, which is why you have a prison industrial complex. So it's a real thing. This is a real thing. This is not tiddlywinks. We're not playing human. This is real life, being human. And a lot of people stopped. They started faking. They stopped. When you can't follow the money, follow the censorship. Yes. What media won't report what? But yeah, well, right. Okay, brother Rob. So you're talking about CNN, Fox, MSNBC, all these. None of them are talking about the prison stand down. Not that I saw. I had to go see this on Al Jazeera. This was yesterday. No one's even talking about it. The bus in Yemen, the 29 that died, right? Where are all the media talking about that? Dude, the genocide in Yemen right now, what is it? 18 million people are starving in Yemen, and it's, what is it, 8.5 was the last, 8.5 million are on the brink of starvation. 8.5. Where's all the media outrage? Where's the news? Where's the coverage? Where's anything? Where's midterm elections? Where are the politicians who are coming forward and saying, you know what, we're going to stop the genocide in Yemen? We are human beings. We have no right to do that to them. I'm sick of y'all talking about Trump phobia. We're going to talk about saving lives and not getting behind Saudi Arabia. It's about to behead 5 activists who beheaded 48 people in 4 months earlier this year. That's not American values. We don't stand for that. And so that's what I'm saying. You got to follow the censorship. If you don't actually follow the people, if you don't follow the people telling the truth never goes viral. And anytime any of these pages gets deleted and there's censorship happening, it's all about following who's doing that. Because we never really know where the money's coming from. We never know what politician's taking money. Like that politician in New Jersey, what's his name? Booger, whatever his name is. People need health care. And everybody got behind him. Health care. Cory Booker, that's his name. Health care. Everybody's behind him. Yeah, he's for health care reform. He's health care reform. And when it finally came down to it, this box didn't get checked, that I didn't get, T didn't get crossed, I, whatever. He was just in a position where he had to stand up for the pharmaceutical industry, who he's taking hundreds of thousands of dollars for. What did he do? No, y'all can't have Canada medicine. He voted it down. You can't always see the money. But, follow the censorship. These are just rules for survival, I think. Let me see. You know who has their boot on your head when you know who you're not permitted to criticize? That's it, Rebecca. That's it. That's spot on it. Whoever you can't criticize, and we know who they are. You can mention their names if you want. I try not to. I did it once. I got in trouble. It was one. Oh man, this is how I know Russia is in control a lot more than what people think. And it's not Russia, it's Russian billionaires and oligarchs who tied in with the American billionaires and oligarchs and the Zionist billionaires. Now, the people who quietly run every damn thing. And they're all friends. That's why I don't believe in this whole team up. Like I posted something really good, y'all should look at. It went through the history of the Middle East. So you kind of explain like how you have these Cold Wars going on, how Iran came to be, how the Saudi Arabia came to be, and why they're fighting and how all the countries are being destabilized, with America and Israel behind these guys, and the UK and France and Russia, and I guess now China behind Iran, and how it all plays out, that they got their Cold War going on. It's been going on for decades now, and America has its Cold War. But I think it's all an orchestration in a show. I think it's all about banks, big banks, profits, and money. And the only reason it occurs is because the Russians can't take control of their government, and the Americans can't take control of their government. The UK and France, nobody actually runs their governments, not the ones that are in power. Let me see what else we've got. Last couple comments. What time is it? I got a few more minutes. They breed us with some psychopathic, cannibalistic beings. Ew, that's deep, Mary. That's deep. Well, we were all cannibals. Go back far enough. Everybody was a cannibal. Everyone preyed upon that. And I guess, if we had cannibalism in our background, then I guess it makes sense that, some of that carries forward. You look at the epigenetic transgenerational genes being handed down when they talk about how, from the Holocaust and people of recent slavery, those genetics get handed down. And that's part of the reason for a lot of the aggression and the anger and the hate. That's why I don't get mad at people, y'all. That's why I tell people, stop focusing on a race. Stop going with that, pro this and pro that. Stop with that nonsense. But I don't chastise them, because I understand that a lot of this stuff, it's actually genetics. A lot of the anger and the violence, it's actually what's being handed down. You know, we can't criticize people like that just because we don't have it. You know, when these kids are fighting with the police and the kids, the white nationalists and all this stuff, you can't critique that because you don't know how much of it's genetics. And if it's genetics, you know, being geneticist is no different than being racist. You're taking someone and you're accusing them of something that they had no choice in. They were born into it. You don't blame somebody for where they're born. You just try to move them forward. That's why it's all about curing people, not justice. It's not about justice. It's about curing. That's why I'm not into the whole justice and the social justice warriors and all that stuff. Somebody asked, I don't have any interest in that. You know, Black Lives Matter. I'm not interested in that. I'm not. It's true. You need to have justice. Black lives matter, white lives matter, yellow lives, blue lives, they all matter. But none of it matters until you see people who carry white lives matter signs carrying Black lives matter signs. When you see people carrying Black lives matter signs, carrying white lives matter signs, then you got something. You see them both carrying blue lives matter, then you got a group of people who actually read a book and they understand that everybody's being played against each other, including the police. When that happens, then you'll get me out in a protest. That's when you'll see me protest. I used to set up protests. I was an activist, gave speeches, did all of that. I'd get back into it if people had a clue. When people don't have a clue and they're playing the billionaires game, they get the little piece. Who am I this time? I'm a rook. I'm an African-American. I'm put it right here. Who am I this time? I'm a French guy. I'm put it right here. Who am I this time? I'm a white guy in a redneck, whatever. I'm put it right here. Everybody gets on their little dumb sides and they start rolling the dice and playing this billionaires game. And I'm not interested in playing. Nah, I'm too old for that. I used to do that when I was a kid. I'm not playing that game anymore. I'm too old for that. I want to be a part of, a small part if I can be, in actually bringing about change that might actually fix something for people who need it. That's why I'm saying. I'm not interested in your midterm choices. I'm not. We gotta vote. I'm not interested. Because if who you're telling me to vote for is associated with a party that loves slavery, I am a total sellout. I just want to be a little sellout, right? I got to make some money. I got to put food on the table, got to pay the bills. I just want a little sellout. Got to have a cell phone, got to have a computer. I just want to be a little sellout. I don't want to sell out this big. And unfortunately, when you're backing people who are completely intentionally looking another way because they're taking money from the prison industrial complex to keep modern slavery going, that's just too much selling out for me. That doesn't taste good in my mouth. It tastes bad. I think the slave fort was a bad idea. I think supporting people like that's a bad idea. I think when people have enough love in their heart and have enough intellectuality in the mirror and they start looking at their own dirt and they start cheering for politicians like Ron Paul and these guys, and he's not even a politician anymore. For some reason, they say a lot of truth when they can get out. They don't say enough of it probably when they're in, but I'm sure that there are limits in what they can say. Rand Paul's the only ones even talking about ending modern slavery. The rest, I don't hear almost anything from. There are some that do the little face talk stuff, right? When they got a chance to make the change, the Democrats, I keep hitting y'all. I have to. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. You get in office, before you get in office, like, oh, we're going to change everything. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. The Republicans, they're keeping modern slavery going. We're going to end it. You know, and they get in office, they got all the power and do anything they want. What they do? Oh, yeah, slavery ain't that bad. And, it ain't that bad. They got food, man. They got, 2 hots and a cot. Ain't so bad. But the Republicans, and they not. Then they get out of office again. And we got to end modern slavery. Keep that to yourself. When people start supporting politicians that actually come through on what they say they're going to do, when they start supporting politicians who are actually talking about human rights, human life, when they prioritize and fix the important problems, that's when we'll actually start to get somewhere. But until then, it's deaf ears. That's all I hear. You come support my slaver. I've got better slavers than your slavers. My slavers are nicer slavers. My master don't beat us as much. My master, he let us get a good day off. It's just like, stop. It's a plantation. We got real problems to fix. People honestly need one thing, hope. Yes, they do, Jeannie. They need hope. We have to laugh a lot. We can't take them seriously. We have to always keep a hold of your hope, because when you lose your hope, you give up, and we can't give up. We have to keep pushing forward. We can't let this go. Too many people are dying. We can't let it go. Keep blowing it up in your face. Oh, we need to get Trump out of office. Do you still have millions of people in prison, most of which are minority? Do you? Okay. Are your politicians trying to end that? Okay, then they're not my leaders. They can't lead me. They might win Congress and Senate, they might become the president, but they don't lead me. They're not a part of my culture. My culture doesn't believe in slavery. My culture doesn't believe in genocide. My culture doesn't believe in war and murder and looting. That's not my culture. That's your culture, because you vote for that. You support those people. You support those parties. It's not mine. We have a lot more psychopaths than what I think we do. I think we have a lot of people on that spectrum who make these deals with human life, and it's okay to keep all these kids in prison. It's a good idea. 13th Amendment ain't so bad. Slavery ain't so bad. Yeah, it is. All right. Last couple comments, and I'm gonna go out of here, because I got to go do my own slave picking. I got to pick my own bag of cotton. It's a damn shame. Shouldn't have to, but I don't complain about that much, because there's a lot of slaves that are a lot worse than my slavery. I'm kind of on a nice spot in the plantation, but I'm not confused that I'm locked into forced labor like they are. So I'll post the link for the Al Jazeera coverage of the stand down in American prisons. I hope you post it. I hope you share it. I hope you like it. I hope you help to make it go viral. I think the only reason CNN is even talking about the 29 kids on the bus is because of y'all. Y'all keep sharing stuff. You keep talking about it. They realize that they got to at some point say something that's true. So I really hope that y'all really do anything you can to make this prison stand down go viral. It's all the brothers and sisters in prison can do. They don't have any control. They're locked down. All they can do is go on a hunger strike. All they can do is say, help me. And it's crazy, because they're not even saying free me. They're just saying, let me have a chance. That's all they're doing. I say we free, but that's my perspective. Anyway, this is Gerard. Gotta go. Let's end modern slavery. Let's talk about things that matter, and let's stop letting bull shizzle drive the conversation, and stop letting people who believe in it drive the conversation. Y'all have a wonderful day now. Love y'all. Bye-bye.